Welcome! In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Fitense 7-inch LCD digital microscope. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's get this open. Here we have the manual. Let's take a quick look at it. So it has a stand for the microscope. It looks like it tilts at the bottom. So the microscope consists of the LCD screen attached to the microscope, and that goes in the stand. The stand also has lights and a remote. So if you want to take a picture, you can press on the remote instead of the screen, because if you press on the screen, you might move things around. So this does need to be plugged into USB for the auxiliary light. Here are the different functions. It has a micro SD card slot on the side, and it comes with a 32 gigabyte card. So to turn it on or off, you hold down the power button for 3 seconds. Here's the remote. This can record video or photos. You can also connect this up to a PC. This will look like a USB webcam when you plug it into a computer. Here are the specs. And it has software available when you hook it up to the PC. Let's get this out. So there's the microscope. Here's the stand underneath. We have auxiliary lights, the remote, and the base. Here's the base. It's made of aluminum, looks to be about a 1/4 inch thick or so. Here's the pivot. On the bottom we have rubber feet. Then here's the mounting arm. Looks like this came out. This is the mount for the microscope. I'll screw this back in. Tighten that up. So this is going to thread in here. We have a nut on here. So I'm going to stick this in here and I'll rotate it to thread it in. When I thread this all the way in, this is not lined up properly, so I'm going to back it off until it's straight, and then I'll tighten this nut here. It's like a jam nut. And it looks like to pivot this, we'll use a wrench. It's 12 millimeter, so I can loosen this up. It's pretty tight. Then this will pivot. So make sure that's upright. Tighten it down. Let's take a look at the microscope before I mount it. So we have the buttons here, they're tactile buttons. This would be the focus knob. Then here we have the micro SD card, LED lights. So to mount this, I'll put this in here. I'll loosen up these screws. Get it lined up and I'll tighten it down. Pull the cord out. So we have a micro USB charge cable. Looks like there's 2 of those. And the remote. And here we have the lights. So these are going to fit behind here, like so. Okay, that snaps on pretty tight. So this is going to plug in, let's see, I think we'll use the longer micro SD cable to go from the microscope up here, and we'll plug that in down here. And then we'll plug this here into a USB charger. So you can use a cell phone charger. So this is currently drawing 0.35 amps. Of course that will go up when we turn the lights on. The remote will plug in here. So here we have everything plugged in. Now to raise and lower this, I'll loosen this in the back and then turn the knob. Peel the plastic off the front. Turn my light off to get rid of the glare, and I'll hold down the power button. Okay, that turned on. It turned on very quickly. So let's get something to look at. I have a piece of paper, I'll put that under here. Now I'll lower this down so it's close. Of course I can shine the lights, and now I can focus it here. Okay, I'm at the range of focus. I need to put this down a little lower. Maybe up more. There we go. So here we can see the type on this instruction sheet. So I can control this with the remote. So I'll press M for the menu, and we have resolution. Let's look at that. So we're set to 1080p. I'll keep that. Loop recording. So I think this will limit video clips to 1, 2, or 3 minutes. If I'm understanding that correctly. We have exposure, and we have date stamp. So you can have the date show up on your photos. If we go to the next menu on the top, we have cross. So this will put crosshairs on the screen. We have date time, auto power off, screensaver, language, frequency, format, default setting, and version. Those are the menu items. And this looks a little bit dimmer in my screen than it does in person. So I can change the brightness of this light here with the knob. It's just under where the remote plugs in. So I can turn that down or up. And I can also adjust the brightness of these lights. Although I haven't turned them on yet, there's a knob in the back. And now those are on. So you can really get a lot of light on what you're looking at. For the menu, we're pressing M. For mode, we can press D. So this is in photo mode, this is playback mode, and this is video mode. And there's a little icon in the top here. So if we want to take a picture, let's go to photo mode, press the middle button, and we've taken a picture. This is playback mode, we can look at the picture. You can see that's there. So this does have a battery in it, so I can unplug it. So now these lights are not working, but the microscope is still working, and it needs to be charged though. So I'll plug it back in. So let's try looking at some things. So I'm in video mode. I'll hit OK to record so I can have a split screen here. So let's put this back under. We can focus in on it. There. Here I have a coin. So we can look at that under the microscope. So you can see it there. So I can turn this up or down to sharpen it. So there, that's looking really sharp right there. We can see a little nick on the side of that. Let's look at the other side. Okay. Next I have a chisel. So I want to look at the edge of this. So I can stick this under. Now I think I might have a little bit too much light there. Since this is a reflective surface, let's try turning the light down. I'll try turning this over too. So when you change the height from the microscope to the object, you're going to have to refocus it. So here we can see the edge. You can see a chip taken out there. Now that chip is very small to my bare eyes, but it looks huge here. I'm not sure I knew that was even there. There's another one. So if I'm sharpening this chisel, I could put it under the microscope to examine it so I could see that I got all those chips taken out. Here I have a pocket watch. So let's wind this up. Okay, so that's ticking. Place that under here. And I'll try and focus it. There we go. So when we're focusing, I'm focused on, looks like a pivot there maybe. But if we focus on something else at a different depth, we may need to refocus it. Let's try the back side. Here we go. So here's a screw. Here's a pivot. We might need to dial that in to focus on it. So you can see that the gear on the left is in the foreground. I'll change the focus a little bit, and then we have the gears in the background in focus. So you can really see a lot of detail with a microscope like this. Let's try and zoom this out a little bit. See what we can do here. So here I'm zoomed out a little bit more. I did that by lifting the microscope and then I focused in, and here we can see the escapement. This can also be connected to a computer, so I'll connect the cable from the microscope directly into my computer. It brings up an option. Are you looking to use mass storage or PC camera? With mass storage, I can take things off of the SD card. With PC camera, I can use it as a webcam. So I'll go down to PC camera. I'll go on my computer and I'll open up software that works with webcams. On a Mac, I can just use QuickTime. On a PC, you can use PC camera, but you could also use teleconferencing software, OBS, and other things like that. So on QuickTime, I'll go to File, New Movie Recording. I'll go to General UVC. And here we can see it on the screen. So I can hit record here and record it directly to a computer. So that recorded. So there we can play back the file. Now if I want to do mass storage, I'll have to unplug this and plug it back in and choose mass storage. And here we have the files we recorded. It looks like the video format is AVI, so I'll open that with VLC player. And here we have the video we recorded. So when I'm done doing this, I'll eject it just like I would any flash drive. So that's the Fitense 7-inch LCD digital microscope. I like how easy this was to set up and use. You can have it ready to go in minutes. It starts up really quick when you press the power button. Has this nice easy to access dial on the front for focusing. It has lots of lighting options. You can use the side lights or the light on the microscope. So if you have a shadow on whatever you're looking at, you can change that up by switching up the lights. And you can use one or both of these lights too just by pointing the other light away. Of course, it also has the remote control, so you don't have to bump it while you're using it. So a microscope like this would be great for when you're displaying something for multiple people. You can see it on the screen, or if you're in a classroom setting or something, you could actually connect it to a computer and put it on a projector. But I think this is a lot more convenient than with a traditional microscope where you have the eyepiece that you have to look in. So if you have like 3 or 4 people working on something, like say in a lab, they'll have to switch positions to look at it. This you can look at it right on the screen. So this would be great for things like watch repair, crafts. I'll often use a microscope if I have a splinter I'm trying to take out. You can look at insects, leaves, coins. So a microscope like this can be used for fun or also for serious purposes. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.